Hello, my name is Jamie George. I'm Vice President of Insurance at FirstService Financial. I'm here with you today to share some key points about overall claims process, some best practice, and how to prepare for similar events that we've just experienced in the future. So that's it. It should look like the first thing you should do is obviously help mitigate your damage, help protect your property, and then you're going to be reporting it to your insurance carrier. And then you're going to be, some of these are happening all at the same time, simultaneously. Then you're going to start getting estimates. You're going to be, again, doing remediation. Your carrier is going to be assigning an adjuster for you, giving you a claim number. That adjuster is most likely going to be coming out to inspect your property. And at that point, you're going to have maybe some estimates, or maybe you're still in the process of remediation. It can look a little bit different for every client. So, depending on your damages and what you're looking like, but that's pretty much how it's going to flow is, preserve the property, report the claim, start doing your immediate repairs, and then start getting your estimates while either you're waiting for your adjuster or your adjuster's coming out to do your estimate. And then hopefully sooner than later, you're moving on to repairs. So the adjustment steps, they can look a little bit different depending on if you're in a weather event catastrophic situation like we just went through in Texas, or whether you're in just an everyday normal type of claim. So I'll kind of try and touch on both. If you're in a catastrophic type, the claims process might look a little different because the carriers don't have their own adjusters. So you might be getting an independent adjuster from the carrier to help, cover that load for the carrier. Where if it's just an everyday claim, the carrier is going to have their adjuster to help with that. So sometimes it can be a little bit different process. And again, depending on your damage, if you're talking about an event type catastrophic thing that we just went through, they're also going to prioritize. So if you're a multi-family type building where you have residential and people living there and it's affecting, them being able to live, they're going to come a little bit above, obviously, a clubhouse or a fitness center, an amenity center, or even, some pool damage or something of that nature. So we all have to be a little patient too and remember that there might be others out there with more damage than we have. And so that's going to take play into these catastrophic claim processes. But other than that, you should be hearing from your adjuster fairly quickly. And by that, I mean within 24 to 48 hours, you should have your initial contact from your adjuster and how they're going to proceed with you, whether they're going to be doing a physical inspection or, in catastrophic times, if you have what we call slight damage, maybe it's your pool or maybe it's a little bit to your clubhouse, they might just be asking you to submit an estimate and some pictures, and they'll go from there as to where they really need to come out and inspect that or not. So if you do have the damages where your adjuster is going to come out and come on property and do an inspection, the board, the manager, they need to make sure that they're prepared with their list of damages, that they know what's damaged at their property. It might not be the same as when they turn the claim in, especially when you're talking about these type of weather events where we have several units damaged, severe damage, our pool's damaged, our clubhouse is damaged, our fences are damaged. You might have reported your claim and had one thing, you knew your pool was damaged, but you might not have known, or you might have known your clubhouse was damaged and not your pool, or vice versa. Or, in a condo situation, you might have known that you had 4 units damaged, but it turns out you have 14 that are damaged. So when that adjuster shows up on site, make sure that you have the details of where you're standing currently with your damages. If you have additional damages to add to when that report was originally made, and be ready to show the adjuster all those damages. It's going to be the responsibility of the board and the association of the insured to ensure that they have shared all their damages with their adjuster. So that's another great question, and I think at this point too, we break it down into two again. Are we dealing with a catastrophic claim, or are we dealing with a normal claim? Under a normal claim circumstances, I would always recommend that everyone get 2 to 3 estimates, maybe 4, depending on what you're doing. In a catastrophic type situation, number one, you're trying to get your damages repaired, especially if you're a condo and multifamily, and you have to get people back into their homes. And contractors are so busy right now in Texas. There's so much damage that even getting one contractor to come out and give you an estimate, I feel lucky at that sometimes. So I think again, you have 2 different scenarios. In a catastrophic, if you can even get one estimate, again, consider that's great. And in a normal situation, try to get 2 or 3. Absolutely look at those and take a look and see what the differences are. Have your contractor go over it with you. What is the difference between their estimate and the estimate that the adjuster has given you? If there's big differences, that's a conversation that you should be having with the adjuster. You need to then call the adjuster and say, I had this conversation, I showed your estimate to my contractor, and he has bid this, and you have bid this, and these are all the differences, and we're not even close, or we're not even in the ballpark, or we're in the ballpark, but we're this far away. And then have that conversation with the adjuster. A lot of times they're going to then look at the contractor's estimate and go, oh, you know what? They're right. That's something I couldn't see, or that's in the wall, or whatever the case may be. There's lots of different scenarios out there of when you find additional damage when you start getting into it. An adjuster's not going to be pulling your walls off like a contractor is. So it shouldn't be a big surprise if the contractor's estimate is higher than the adjuster's. Just know you need to have a conversation with the adjuster. So there's a lot of times, and I see this often, where associations go through changes. They've added things, or they've deleted things, or they've built a playground, or they've added security cameras and equipment. And if your insurance isn't kept up to date with the properties and the assets that you own, you may not have coverage when it comes claim time. And claim time's not the time you want to find out that you forgot to have a discussion with the insurance agent that you added a security system that cost $100,000 that wasn't added to your insurance policy, but that's now been flooded out from the storm, and it's not covered because it's not on there. So I would say, at least every year, just at least give thought to it. Have we done anything major, added anything major, or upgraded anything major that we need to have a discussion with our insurance agent about that we didn't at the time of adding it? I was just going to say, trees and shrubs is one thing that everyone thinks sometimes are covered for everything, but they're not covered for weather. They're not covered for acts of God. So wind, ice, that's not covered for landscaping. So unfortunately, if you lost trees or landscaping during this storm, most likely it's not covered. And I say most likely because that's 9.9 times out of 10 it's not covered, but maybe you're one of those associations that bought some kind of rider or endorsement for the coverage of wind or ice or hail. Oh, that's a great question, and that's the one that makes my heart jump a little bit. So the market's already been it's been hardening, and what that means is experiencing rate increases, carriers not writing lines of coverage anymore, getting harder to get, tighter underwriting guidelines. And with that, we see rates going up. So we've been seeing that for the past 18 months because of all the natural disasters we've seen in the past 4 years. I don't suspect that this is going to make that condition any better, unfortunately. However, with that being said, that we may anticipate some more rate increases coming for our next renewals, know that if you're working with your trusted insurance broker partner, which for FirstService residential clients is FirstService Financial and our team here, know that we are always working for you to use our leverage to bring you the best prices and the best premiums and the best coverages that are available in the marketplace, even with it hardening. And I'm sure your broker is doing that for you too. That's all the time we have for this episode of Ask the Expert. As always, I thank you all for joining me, and thank you to FirstService Residential for providing great resources, and a special thanks to those of you that took the time out for this discussion today. If your community needs guidance on any of the topics we've discussed today, please email letstalk-tx@fsresidential.com, and we'll be in touch with you soon. Thank you all for joining us, and have a wonderful day.